Okay, so after looking at regular expressions, so we go ahead and look at, after looking at file handling, we're going to look at regular expressions for today. So what I'll do here is I'm going to create a new file and I'll call it regex.py. So regex is a short form, rather is the short form for regular expressions. And what regular expressions do basically is we use regular expressions to create patterns. Then you can be able to use those patterns to look for things that meet those patterns. So anything, I think almost everything has a pattern into it. It be our phone numbers. Our phone numbers do have patterns. If you talk about maybe our emails, they do have patterns. Even some of our names still they have certain patterns that they follow. So get being able to you can use this, you can write, you can sort of using regular expressions, you can create patterns that go and match that what you need. Yeah, so if you want, let's say you have a document, and that document, or even our website, and the website has a list of phone numbers that belong to people, so you can use regular expressions to write a pattern for a phone number. Then you can write your own script. The script will go and look at the document or the HTML page or whatever web page that you have. You want to look through it and then pick the numbers that meet the pattern that you had defined earlier. So that's where regular expressions come in. So for us to use regular expressions, first of all, you need a module known as the RE module. What you do is first you import that RE module, and this RE module allows you to use regular expressions. Yeah, and it also comes with a number of methods that you can use. Yeah, so some of those methods are like we're going to look at them like searching, so all those things. So after importing this, you need two things. Just ideally, you need two things for you to be able to work with regular expression. So you need a pattern. You need to define a pattern. Then you need to have some form of text or document where you're going to apply that pattern and see whether you get a match for the pattern that you have defined. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to create a variable here, and I'll call this variable pattern. In this variable, we're going to define a pattern. Okay. So the pattern I'm going to define here is I can just say R. Then I have a word, so a word like car, like that. So here, this pattern basically what it means is I'm looking for a pattern or something that starts with car. Yeah. So what I'll do now is I'll have a text, and then I'm going to try and look for such a pattern in a text. So if I read a text that like I have a car and I use public transport at times. Yeah. So that is our text. We have our pattern and then we have the text. So what you need to do is search for this pattern in this text. And how we search for that pattern, we use the RE module now. The RE module comes with a method known as search. So what you just say re.search. Then this search method takes into arguments, takes in the pattern and the text. So you can just pass in the pattern like that, then followed by the text. Now, after doing this, going to search for the pattern in this text like that. Then whatever result that we get from here, which is a match, you can store it in a variable. You can call this variable match. Yeah. So we're storing whatever. If there's a match, we store it here. Okay. What you can do now is let's try and print this match and see what it looks like first. Yeah. So I'll run the code in our terminal down here. Just say python 3 regex.py. You see I get that match, and you see what I get is a match object, and this specifies even the span of that. So it spans from index 9 to index 12. So you can just do 0 1 2 0 1, even this space is a character, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So index 9 to index 12 even defines all that. And then the match object, the match is car. So this pattern has been found here. So after getting the match, from there you can do some other manipulations. So let's say you can even write a condition. Yeah. So if the match is found, all you need to say is if match. So if match is true, then you can maybe print a statement that says you found the pattern. Yeah, something like that. The other thing that you can do, again, I'm just using this as a sort of proof of concept. But when you find a match, it could be probably you are looking for phone number in a document, and if you find a match for that phone number, your next step would be probably to either store that phone number somewhere, or call it their number. So all the logic behind all those things, you can do it afterwards. Yeah. Else, that is, now if the match is not found, else you can just print a statement here that says match not found, like that. So now we've created a pattern, then you've tried to check that pattern against the text, and yeah, we've searched for the pattern and we have this condition. If we find the pattern, we just say if there's a match, we say we found the pattern. If it's not, we say match not found. So now if I run this code, you see, it says you found the pattern because a match is true. That is, the pattern was found in the text. So that's just a brief introduction into regular expressions, but there's a lot more that goes into regular expressions than just what you're seeing here. So there are a number of meta characters. Meta characters are the characters that we use to define regular expression patterns. So what we have here, like this R, this is just a simple character that we use. But the number of meta characters, we have things like dots. Dots, they're the one that we use to match any character except a new line. We have asterisks, addition. We have equal, the question marks, square brackets. We have like even dollar signs, backslashes, all those things. Yeah, and forward slashes. So that is what those are some of the meta characters that we use to define regular expressions, and you're going to see how we can use those characters. So an example use here, we've written the text. I can just say and I have a car and my phone number. My phone number is, and say 123 098, then some other random numbers, like that. So let's assume this is someone's phone number. Yeah? Then from here, after getting that's the phone number, we need to define a pattern. We need to define a pattern that matches this phone number. So you can just say R, like that, and then inside here we define the pattern. So one thing you're going to, in terms of these patterns, and you're going to read more on them, both in the LMS and even when you're doing your own research online. So how you represent characters from 0 to 9, those are the numbers, that is, you use a backslash d. Yeah. So basically you just say backslash d, like that. By doing that, you've represented the numbers, any numbers between 0 and 10. Yeah. So like in this case here, let's just say backslash d, then you try to search this against the text, and when I print the pattern here, say you found the pattern, then you found the pattern. Yeah, I think that should be good, like that. So if I run the code, you see it says you found the pattern. The reason it's saying you found the pattern is because backslash d represents characters between 0 and 9, and we have those characters between 0 and 9 in this phone number. Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting. So as you know, this looks for those for the numbers, right? Now if you look at the pattern of this, or the format of this phone number, is it has a set of 3 numbers. then hyphen, a set of three numbers, hyphen, then a set of four numbers. So to represent that set of numbers, use curly braces. So in this case, yeah, we have three sets of numbers. I can just say curly braces and pass in three. What that means is we have three numbers on the first block, like that. Then on the first part of the pattern, then you have the hyphen there. Again, you have a backslash d, and then you have again you have three characters here. You can say three, and you can go ahead and again have the hyphen backslash d, but this time we have four. We have four numbers there. So if I do this as the pattern, you can just say you found the pattern, like that, and now I can clear this and run. You see, it says you found the pattern, like that, like that. Yeah, I can even have a statement here extend and say you have found the pattern, and say the pattern is, I mean, the number the number that matches the pattern is, the number is, and then I'm going to pass in the match object, like that. Okay, so I need an f string here, like this. So if I run this, it says you found the pattern, the number is, so it gives you this match. You see, yeah, the match object, the entire match object. But this is the number right there. So the match did happen in our case here. Okay. So that's basically how you define a pattern, then look for the pattern. This is a pattern for just a simple phone number. In the challenge that I'm going to send you guys after, you're going to notice the pattern for finding a phone number gets a bit more complex, because there are a lot of things to consider in a phone number. For example, Kenyan phone number is not the same as, I don't know, a US or like Middle Eastern phone number. So how you can be able to take care of most, if not all of these patterns that exist, and doing that in code. So you're going to find that, but this is just a simple way of showing you how you can create just a simple regular expression pattern, and you proceed from there. So some of the methods that you use with RE, like I mentioned here, we have the search method. Then we also have the match method. Yeah, so basically what it does here is, the search method that you've seen here, this always looks for the first occurrence of the pattern that we're checking in a string. That's what the search looks for. But the match checks for, or rather it checks if a pattern matches the beginning of a string. Yeah, so you can just say this. So if I say re dot match here, then when I'm using match, if I run this, you see it tells me match not found. The reason for this is because the number is not at the beginning of a string. Yeah, so if I copy this number and I just put it here at the beginning of a string, like that, and I run the code, you see it says you found the pattern. Yeah, it's saying you found the pattern because this is what match does. It looks for the pattern at the beginning of the string. If it doesn't find it, it moves on. Yeah. Then apart from the match, we have the find all method. So dot find all. This dot find all, what it does here is it returns any of, or rather all, overlapping occurrences of a pattern in a string. So let's try and run it here and see. She says again, and I want you to note this very carefully. Your pattern, you found the pattern, the number is, and then it returns two numbers in a list. Not these two numbers are in a list. That is what the find all method does. The find all method looks for the pattern, and then the patterns that have, rather, all the occurrences of a pattern in a specific place. So if you want to pick a list of phone numbers from our website, just use the find all method, and it's going to store everything in a list. Yeah. So there are many other things. There are many other occurrences of patterns which you can go and look at. So there are many patterns that can be considered. So apart from creating a pattern like this one for just a simple phone number, you can also now get into more real world examples like creating a patterns for emails. So sometimes you find you probably find your email has been submitted to some online publication where you've never even heard of it, never used it before. Sometimes how they find those emails is your email is available publicly. Someone creates a web crawler, then uses probably a regular expression pattern to go and look for any match of such emails online on a specific site maybe. Then once it gets them, once it gets those emails, it can store them in a database somewhere. Whoever is writing the crawlers can use those emails however they want to use it. Of course, the ethical nature, or rather the legality of that is a bit questionable. So anyway, so when you're dealing with this, you have a number of when you're dealing with the patterns, that is. So I mentioned when you use backslash d, you're dealing with numbers. But if you're dealing with characters like A to Z, yeah. So if you're dealing with those alphabetical characters, you use A to Z. You just say A dash Z. That represents both lowercase and uppercase. That represents the textual pattern. That's now these numbers all through. I mean the alphabetical letters. So you can there's something else that you can use. I'll probably just use this pattern as an example here. So we've seen a pattern for phone number being written like this. We also have a pattern. We have a pattern for URLs. Yeah. So if you're dealing with a URL, I can just try something here. So I'm going to define a pattern for URLs. So a URL like HTTPS, blah blah like that. So all you need to do is just start with HTTPS. Then you're going to have a question mark. And if you guys remember correctly, I mentioned that the question mark is going to match 0 and 1 and occurrences of a previous character. Yeah. So basically, in case this HTTPS occurs later on, it's going to figure it out. Then just normally the URL would go. You have a full colon, two forward slashes there. Then there's this grouping that I mentioned as well. So we're doing grouping, you square brackets. You're going to have your square brackets, and whatever you put inside of it, it's going to be considered as on the same yeah no on the same group. So here you're going to start with the number of characters. So something a character like this one that raises like that. Basically, what this does what that does is it shows us the start of a string. Yeah. So in a URL, there's always a string that follows afterwards. So you use that. Then you have a backslash s. A backslash s looks for space characters. So if there are any space characters anywhere, it's going to pick them up. Yeah. Then finally, you can have a plus on the end. So that's going to just look for any other thing that is going to match whatever it's before it. Okay. So once you have defined such a pattern, you can go ahead and look for the pattern. So if I can say here, I have a car, then probably a comma there, and I'm going to write just a dummy URL here. I'll just call it dummyurl.com like that. And okay, I'm using find all here, so it's going to find all the URLs that exist here. So if I run the code now, you see it says you found the pattern there. So I just say here probably the match is instead of the number. Let me clear this and run it again. You see now it says you found the pattern, the match is, then it returns this URL. So if you have multiple of this URL, you can even add another one here. You can just make it again HTTPS, maybe text.com. Again, if I run it, now we have two URLs in our We have two URLs in our list. But this is how you use regular expressions to create patterns, then try to match or look for those patterns in a text that you have, or some other thing that that you might be using apart from just the text. Yeah. Any question to this point? Okay. So if there's no question here, when you talk of regular expressions, I think we have covered a basic introduction to regular expressions, what they are, what they look like, how to use them, and how to you can also do a number of manipulations around them. But regular expressions, they have a lot more to them than what you've seen. There are more things that you need to learn on how those patterns are performed. A lot of things that you can consider. Yeah. So this is something I'll probably just give you an example of a place where you can use a regular expression in real life, and just a common example actually. So let's say you want to, let me use air tickets as an example. Yeah. There are a number of services that sell air tickets online, you know and if you try to compare the prices of these air tickets across, you're going to find that some services sell the tickets cheaper, others sell those tickets at a bit of a higher price, others have a bigger discount, others a smaller discount, or all those things considered. So if you can use a regular and there are people who've already done this. So what you do is you create a script that is going to iterate through look at the internet on those specific websites. Maybe then using a regular expression, you can just define a pattern that looks for specific flights, a pattern that looks for specific flights at specific times, and then looks for the prices as well. So you can even define a pattern for price for the specific flights. And yeah, you can just use a pattern for something like that, and it helps you probably find the cheapest flights, the flights that have the best discounts or coupons that you could use, or offers that you can pass around. And people use those to maybe build their own websites and sell such services, or sell the cheapest tickets at a discount to get a coupon. The same concept is replicated in e-commerce. Actually, e-commerce probably has one of the biggest applications, or rather like a good number of people using this. So in e-commerce, you find you are someone looking for part. So like, you see, if you're buying products from, let's say, Amazon, there are a number of products there that have coupons that you could use or apply them, and discounts you could use and get a commission. So someone will create a crawler that is going to go through let's say through Amazon, look for the specific products or the product categories that have the discounts that they want, and then they can go and list those products on their websites and other places where they list them. So when someone clicks on those products and buys them, this person gets a discount from it. Yeah. So there are lots of applications of these regular expressions. Yeah. So something like products, how certain products are written, their names and all those things. There's a way that you can define a regular expression pattern for even those things. Yeah. Other thing could be maybe you are writing, I don't know, uh a research paper, and you want to know maybe the number of hyperlinks that you have. Could be even a Wikipedia page, and you want to know the number of hyperlinks. It could even be a task actually to look at Wikipedia and tell us on average. This is something that people use even in data analysis and probably other insights that they create. Looks for the specific, or rather the average number of hyperlinks that you can find in a single Wikipedia article. Yeah. So you can use regular expressions to define those things. So you define like a URL pattern, a URL pattern like this one here, and then goes through Wikipedia and tries to find how many URLs are there. Since the URLs you're using find all, they're stored in a list, and just find the size of the list and know how many. And do those calculations. So those are some of the ways you can apply regular expressions. There are many other ways that you can apply regular expressions, and we're going to learn about those things as we proceed. But yeah, for today, I think this is enough to cover for today. So during the next class is when we're going to now apply these regular expressions. When we start looking at things like web scraping, so we'll see how we can apply regular expressions in web scraping. Just looking for even something as simple as this URLs. What I've talked about basically, you need an element of web scraping in those for you to fully apply this concept. There are question. Okay. If there's no question, we can just call it a day here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow during tomorrow's class. So enjoy your night. Cheers.